Good evening, everyone. Welcome along to the SFC interviews. Joined here with Barry Hayles, of course, Stevenage legend, to be honest. How are you, Barry? You all right, mate?
Yes, very well indeed. Very well indeed. I'm a lot more an organiser this time, thankfully.
That's good. And then we've got quite a few comments that have already come through as well. From there's Vi again, who we were just speaking to, of course, and we've got one here from Matt as well. We might as well get into that before we actually start talking Stevenage. What was it like playing in the Premier League?
And it was a dream come true, really. And having come from non-league and made my way through the leagues, and to actually play on that stage was very exciting times.
And then Martin here as well. Who would you love to have played for if you could have the chance to play for any?
That's a no-brainer. Being a lifelong Tottenham fan, I would have loved to have turned out for Spurs.
Okay. That's yeah. Okay, so for Tottenham then, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well we'll get into Stevenage as well because we've got quite a lot of information here. Obviously, we tried to do this the other day with Rye and it didn't work out very well. Hence why we're doing it two separate interviews now and two separate streams. But first of all, you know, what were your main reasons behind joining Stevenage, and you know, how big an impact was Paul Fairclough on that as well?
Me joining Stevenage was it was by chance. I played against Hertfordshire County for the Moonsons County, and at that time I was still playing subs for my Saturday team. Yeah. So and I remember the coaches when we was on a coach going to the game saying, if their manager tried to speak to you, don't speak to him after the game. And I thought, well, why is he going to speak to me? So we played, we lost 1-0 against Hertfordshire, and then me and my mate came out of the change room, Phil Simpson, and Paul Fairclough pulled us and said, do you want to keep paying subs, or do you want to get paid to play football? So it was a no-brainer, really.
And you know, what was it like playing under Paul as well? What was he like as a manager or as a mentor?
He was brilliant. He knew how to handle the players. He brought in a lot of good players in, and he knew how to motivate us. And he put together a good team plus a good squad as well. I think that was the key to the success, really.
And in that squad, you know, there were some really talented, really good talented players. I think Smudge was in there. Des Gallagher was in there, if I remember rightly, as well. Who else was in there? Soji. Dave Venables on the wing. We had Neil Catlin as well in midfield. Mm-hmm. We had who was your strike partner up front? Was it Corey?
Corey Brown, Brown as well. And Treble came and played as well. So we had Kenny Webster at right back, who was very solid. And
who else was in that squad? There's probably quite a few others that I've not mentioned as well.
Gary Crawshaw as well.
Yeah, of course.
Partner, Gary Crawshaw as well. Yeah.
So there's quite a lot of good names in there. So let's have a look. Got one here from Matt. Did you enjoy scoring against Gillingham?
I think I scored a few times against Gillingham, so for different clubs as well. I think my first goal for Millwall was against Gillingham, and I remember scoring a few times against Gillingham. Yeah, I did enjoy scoring any goal, really.
That's right. Yeah, he's a Gillingham fan as well, so there you go. He's probably seen you score against them quite a few times. Well, either him personally or his family, his dad and that, who he goes to games with. But this one from Russ. What did you think to Fulham this season? And of course, them ending up with promotion at the end of it as well via the playoffs.
I think any Fulham fan would have taken that, but having spoken to a lot of Fulham fans, they was a bit sceptical of Scott Parker, and he's shown that he's up for the job and up for the task, and that, and it was a great achievement going up. And it's always hard to, when you get relegated, to try and motivate the players to turn that around, but he's got a brilliant job.
And then with Stevenage, you made your debut coming off the bench in a 3-0 victory over St Albans. Do you remember much about that game and sort of the lead-up days to it?
Not really, no. That was many years ago. Well, I think we was in the back then it's called the Theodora League, the one. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I don't remember the game, but I know we went on to win that league to go up the conference itself. So, and that was my first year, I think, with Stevenage. So that was one of the highlights of my fledgling career, really.
And of course, you know, not just winning the Theodora League, you went on to win the conference as well. And that was when the club weren't allowed up. So, you know, what were your thoughts on that, having played the full season and the players done all, you know, doing all the hard work and everything like that, and, you know, only to find out at the end of it that the club won't be playing league football?
It was devastating for the fans, for the players, and for me personally, because I was 23, 24 getting on, and I'm thinking, well, this is my chance to become a full-time pro and pick myself at another level. So on a personal note, I was quite devastated having the squad played so well and winning the championship, not being able to go up was devastating, very much so.
And in that season, that was, you know, you had some fantastic seasons at the club, but that was probably your best season as well. Was that the season you went on to score the most goals and to get player of the season, if I'm correct as well? Is that right?
Yes, yeah. I got the golden boot, and but you got to look at it. It's through the team and through the season. So the team got me in the right places, and I was the one to score the goals. But for personal note and for the club, it was devastating, absolutely devastating. But it was, like, for personal note, getting the golden boot, that was very exciting times for me.
There you go. Got a message here from Paul. I think you'll find it's actually Sir Barry Hayles for his services against Woking, amongst others.
That was back then. That was one of the biggest games we tried to get ourselves up for, and it was at that point. It was the biggest crowd I think I played in front of, nearly 5,000 people.
Oh wow, yeah.
And to score and to win the game was very pleasing. And that I got a picture of me running towards the dugout, celebrating, and seeing the Woking centre halves' faces.
Yeah.
Round, and that was so that's etched in my memory for sure.
And of course, you know, we mentioned there in regards to Woking and also to winning the league. The other big game was Birmingham and that cup run as well. I was watching some highlights back from that the other day from the actual Boro Chat, you know, highlights package that they've got on there. You had a lot of chances in that game. You could have had a couple of goals easy.
Yeah. I watched it, I think, about a couple of months ago, and I was still beating myself up that I didn't put one of them away at least, and that. But I think that game put Stevenage on the map and put myself on the map as well. So because I think we gave a good account of ourselves that day.
Yeah, and you know, I wasn't around at that time. I wasn't, you know, I'd only been a fan for. Well, I don't even know really, to be honest. I was growing up and everything at that point. So that was before my time, you know, getting to see you play and players like that. But it's always good to find out a little bit more about the history and to, you know, watch it back and to see things like that. And, you know, you're one of the players that I didn't get to see that I would really, you know, wish if I could go back and be born a little bit sooner, then that would be really good.
Yeah, you know, it was fantastic times there. It was a pleasure to be a part of it. It was a pleasure to be amongst the players, because we had a good squad as well, a good manly squad. I would say we never had no one let us down, and it was just a pleasure to be a part of that.
And then we've got, let's have a look what else we've got on here. So yeah. We spoke about that in regards to getting promoted and everything as well, and the Birmingham game. So you scored your first goal for the club against Bishop Stortford. Do you remember much about that at all? I guess probably not.
Well, no, I don't. Well, me becoming a striker, I think that was a Paul Fairclough genius move. So I wasn't.
You started out at left wing back or left back,
yeah, left back, and then he put me in midfield. He put me out wide, and then I had a ban coming up, a 2-game ban, and he said to me, "Well, I can't use for the next 2 games, but I'm going to stick you up front because we got a shortage of strikers for this game, and then you can serve your ban." And I ended up scoring in that game, and then he said, "When you come back, I'm going to leave you up there." And I scored. I think I scored another 2 the next game
after. And that's right. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was a masterstroke from Paul Fairclough, and the rest is history, really.
Absolutely. And then you played and scored in some big games against local teams as well, as I mentioned. St Albans being one, Hitchin being another one as well. What were those derbies like? The Hitchin Stevenage derbies.
They were massive in that. They were massive at the time in that because you always want the bragging rights, and you always want to be the top team in the local area. And for the likes of Mark Smith, who was Hitchin legend, and then he came to he became a Stevenage legend. It was massive. Mm-hmm. For him and his family too, so we made sure we try and give a good account of ourselves.
That's right, and Mark is, I think he's out in Spain now. I think he's living out in Spain, if I'm correct.
I think he's back now.
He's moved back. Yeah,
I think he's moved back. I spoke to him a few months ago, so yeah, I think he was back. I don't know if he's gone back out again, but he was meant to go back out. But I think he was back the last time I spoke to him. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I know he's been sort of chopping and changing between here and Spain, the UK and Spain, yeah. And then we got, George Boyd was coming through into that squad as well. What was it like, to see players like him come through?
He was very young, so I didn't play with him, but it always a pleasure to see talent that show what they can do and then go to a high level and prove that they can play at a high level and do themselves justice. Because coming from lower leagues, people always have the thing of saying it, can they play higher? Can they at a higher level? And there's players given the chance, they can prove that they can.
That's right. And he would have been, how old was he? He must have been really young, actually. Just coming through. Yeah. And then what else have we got on there? So, you played against and alongside some big names in the game. So who would you say were your sort of main players that you played with and played against? Who were your kind of, top couple of players that you've, played with and played against at Stevenage?
At Stevenage, Smudger at the back and in goal as well. That was fantastic. I got to play with another Stevenage legend striker, Gittins as well.
And Martin,
Martin Gittins as well. So, and I say Treble came back and he was stalwart as well. So we played with a lot of quality players, a lot of players who knew the game and knew how to win games and how to see games out.
That's right. And then in regards to, some of your time at Stevenage, you scored plenty of goals throughout the seasons that you were there. What are your, sort of standout goals or your main sort of standout goal that you scored for the club? What would you say?
I'd say standout goal was the one against Woking. That's a definite standout. I remember a game when I was coming back from injury, and we were 2-0 down. I can't remember who we were playing against, but we were 2-0 down, and I was warming up, and then I came on half time, and we ended up winning the game 3-2. And I scored the second one and won a penalty to make it, and Kenny Webster scored the penalty to make it 3-2. And I remember jumping in the crowd and that, and it was just magnificent. We had turned it round in that. So that game stands out. For the life of me, I can't remember who we were playing against.
Yeah, I did have it written down before. I know I did. but I know a lot of these are probably kind of gone over onto other streams now because I've got so many that I've done. It's difficult to keep up with what I've written down for each individual. But in regards to your time at Stevenage, you mentioned a lot of those players there. Who was the one person that you thought could go on and do? You've gone on and gone into the Football League and play for some really big teams in there. The likes of Leicester and Sheffield United and Fulham have got some good history in there as well. Who was the one sort of, or a couple of other players, in fact, who you felt could have actually gone on and had sort of a similar career to what you've had and have been a bit unfortunate maybe not to have Football League experience?
Definitely Des Gallagher, who was our keeper. He was a fantastic keeper. Mark Smith, he was doing things that I played with players in high levels, and he was doing that for Stevenage, so he could have played at a high level. And Effie Tolba, he went on to play in the Football League, which he showed with his ability. They were the three that probably stood out. I know Dave Venables, I think he had a chance to go from Stevenage to go full time, but he was a school teacher, so he was comfortable in his job and that. But yeah, we had a fair few that could have gone on and progress in the game.
And with the Birmingham game there as well, throughout the commentary, when I was watching the commentary and obviously watching that back, they mentioned in regards to the club rejecting a bid from you, for you, I should say, and that was from Bristol Rovers. Is that correct?
Yes, that year, I think Rovers came in with a bid, and the club turned it down, and then so they were like, yeah, we not accepted it. So, and then I got a call from Ian Holloway, who was the manager, and he said to me, if you're there next year, I'm going to come back and get you.
And that's what happened. Yeah.
So true to his word, he came back and the deal was done. And
that's right. And then we've got a message here from Matt as well. 1999, another player that loves scoring against Gillingham, Jeff Horsfield as well. Got the third. You scored the first as Fulham secured promotion in a 3-0 victory against Gillingham. You were a part of that game. In regards to, we spoke about Stevenage getting promotion, and now, of course, they're a Football League club. How big is it that they've remained a Football League club, obviously, with the whole Macclesfield situation and what's come out of there in the last, week or so?
Sorry, say that again, sorry.
Oh, obviously, how big is it now in regards to Stevenage remaining a Football League club? Because...
it's been turned around, I didn't know.
Yeah, obviously now it's been confirmed that they are going to be remaining in League 2, yeah.
Oh, brilliant. Because the last time we spoke, I think it wasn't decided yet. So, I see.
Yeah, it was confirmed about middle of last week, I think it was, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's fantastic. Yeah, I didn't hear, but yeah, I think the club should be in the league, and that the club's grown massively. So I'm very pleased. Very pleased.
And that was just confirmed the other day, as I said. So let's have a look here what I've got on there. So yeah, what are your sort of memories from Stevenage? In terms of what's your best bit of banter maybe from some of the lads. Obviously, I'm looking here even towards the end of your time. I think you went on and you scored 6 goals in your final 4 games for the club as well. What was that like?
No, it's brilliant. I think one of the memories as well is the song the fans had for me.
Yeah.
Ole, 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 Barry Hayles, Hayles, Hayles. So every time I scored, they would play the track, and then the crowd they would sing it. So that was very emotional to hear that, and very pleasing. That was one of the standout memories too. And it's just scoring goals at that level that just was like the icing on the cake. Not originally being a striker as well, but knowing where to be and just anticipating stuff as well, and knowing how the boys were going to cross the ball and whatnot was always pleasing to be in the right place.
That's right. I'm just looking through some of your stats here. Obviously, you scored 6 goals in your final 4 games. You scored quite a few goals throughout that last season as well. Against Hayes, against Macclesfield, for example, against Bromsgrove as well. A couple against Hayes in the FA Cup. That was the first round of the FA Cup in '96. That was got a brace in that one. Scored both goals in that one. Dover as well. He scored one against Slough. A couple against Slough. The following, so Slough was Boxing Day and also on New Year's Day as well, and then obviously Birmingham. In that game there, and then the game after that, you scored against Hayes as well in the league.
Okay, yeah. So I was on a good streak.
Yeah, I'm just looking through. Really good streak. Scored against Bath in the FA Trophy as well, and Woking obviously in that one. Scored a hat-trick against Farnborough. Do you remember much about that game?
No. I remember scoring a hat-trick away somewhere. I think it was Bromsgrove or something like that. I remember scoring a hat-trick. That was probably near the start of the season. I think, I remember playing away and scoring a hat-trick. Yeah.
And then a couple of goals, Rushden and Diamond, 2 against Altrincham as well, 1 against Halifax in that season. So that was a prolific season as well. That was the season, I think that was the league winning season, wasn't it? I think, with Birmingham, in the FA Cup as well. And then, the season before, doesn't look like you were as prolific, or at least not the second part of the season anyway. Not the beginning part of the season. I think the second part of the season, there you go. A couple of goals against Runcorn in an 8-0 victory, which I think is still one of the club's record victories now.
Okay.
And a few other games like that as well. I'm just looking, Bromsgrove, and you scored 1 there, 1 against Dagenham, a couple against Northwich, Runcorn again. So, what was it like to obviously lead the line, and Corey as well? What was he like to be as a, strike partner?
Corey was the perfect strike partner. He would take the pressure off me if the physical stuff was going on. We would share the physical side of things, and we just bounced off each other. We kind of knew where each other was, like striking partners should do. And we were friends off the pitch as well, which counts a great deal as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just looking here through what that hat-trick might have been. There's one here where you scored a hat-trick in the 5-2 against Stalybridge away.
That's the one, yeah. Yeah.
See,
that's the match I remember, yeah.
We're on a good run actually here as well. Lots of wins. Beat Kettering. Yeah.
And they were big games. They were big games. Well, the likes of Kettering, Rushden Diamond, Diamond. They were pumping money into their squad. So we just went about our business, and I remember Kidderminster being one of our major rivals as well.
Yeah, and that's another one that we beat. I think you scored against them as well. You see, I'm just looking here. I think you scored, 5, 8, 9, 10, 11 goals in something like 7 games there.
Oh, yeah.
So that's a pretty good record.
Yeah, I'll take that, definitely, yeah.
And then what about, the club getting promoted when Stevenage did? How much were you following that back when Stevenage actually were promoted?
Yeah, I followed it a great deal. I did have a chance to come back and help the team to come up. Yeah. I got a call from Graham Wesley when I was at Chelsea at the time, and he said, I think you should come back and help us come up to the Football League because it will be fitting. So we had a chat and that, and then it broke down between me and him, and it didn't quite work out, and I ended up staying at Cheltenham. But it's part of my career which I kind of regret, because I think coming back to Stevenage would have been very fitting.
And would that have been as a player or as a player coach or?
Player, I would have been playing. But yeah, I had a chat with him, but it didn't quite work out. So, but the boys had done the job. So yeah, I was very pleased that Stevenage managed to get into the football league, and then they went up again. So I thought, the club's growing. Yeah. And
then we spoke about this on the stream last week as well. The game when you were playing for Leicester, you were actually on the bench for this one in the FA Cup, and we spoke about it before. I think DJ Campbell was on the bench and he came on, but you didn't manage to come on. How important was it for you to actually come over at the end of the game and show your appreciation to the Stevenage fans for the fact they've supported you throughout the whole time you were at the club as well, those 3 or 4 seasons?
Yeah. It was a massive for me to acknowledge them. Definitely, I would have loved to have come on and grace the pitch during the game, but I've still got a lot of friends in Stevenage, and I still keep in contact with a lot of the staff as well. So Stevenage will always be in my heart.
So when DJ come on now, did you say anything to him? Were you like, this should be me coming on now? When Paul Dickoff came on, did you say something to him like, yeah, you've taken my opportunity now?
Yeah, well, I think the manager then, he kind of knew, but he wasn't sentimental like that. Yeah. So he just stuck to his game plan. I think Nigel Pearson, he was a manager then, I think, at the time.
I think so, yeah, and that was, again, Stevenage getting to a decent cup run as well there, and that's another thing that Stevenage are well known for is the cup runs. Obviously, since that Birmingham one, they've gone on and had the games with Newcastle and Tottenham and lots of teams that are, competing at the higher ends of, the Premier League and the English pyramid.
Yeah, I think. With the right structure, Stevenage can climb back up to at least League One, and then hopefully in one day make it into the Championship, because they've done it before. So hopefully they can make the steps and get the right people in place to do that.
And what do you think in regards to Alex Ravel and Lenny Lawrence that are at the club now? What's your experiences with them, especially Lenny?
Yeah, well, Lenny, like you said, Lenny's got a vast amount of experience, so and he can help Alex a great deal, and he's got a know-how of all the leagues as well. So no, it's very pleasing. I didn't know that Stevenage were allowed back into League Two. So yeah, they can use that as a bonus and use that as a plus to motivate the players to know that they won't get in the same trouble we got in the season just finished.
Yeah, that's right. And of course, we mentioned before in regards to yourself being a key part of that side that got promoted and weren't allowed up. Do you see this as a bit of justice for that now, for what happened back then?
Yeah, well, you could say that most definitely, because I remember back in the day the old chairman tried to make a deal with the bottom of the club of League Two, and that coming out to the football league and that. So yeah, I think it's nice justice.
And then of course you played for your country as well. What was it like playing for? Well, actually, you played for a couple of different nations. Actually, if I'm correct, you played for the England C team, and then you went on to play for Jamaica in the seniors, didn't you? Yeah.
And I was pleased in that. I was doing well in the Premiership when Fulham went up, so they can call him. So I think I wrote to them many years before to say I could be available, but and then I got my chance to represent them, which was a brilliant occasion.
And when you were playing for the England C team, that was at Stevenage, and I think one of the games you scored a couple of goals in, didn't you, as well?
Yeah, I think I played I played a couple of friendlies and I played a couple of representative games. I think I scored in every game I played. I think I played about 3 or 4 games, scored in every game. So that was pleasing because I was still doubting myself. It wasn't good enough to make that grade. And I played with the likes of Carl Alford and Lee Hughes as well, and as striking partners. And me and Lee Hughes, we got on really well as well. So it was pleasing to get the call up and then prove that I was justified in getting the call up.
That's right, with getting the goals there and stuff as well. So, you're currently still involved with Merstham?
Yeah, Merstham, yeah.
And you played your first pre-season game the weekend just gone, is that right as well?
Yeah, we played Friday. We played Friday night against Colliers Wood, yeah.
How was that? Was that good to be back out there again?
Yeah, I've got a slight knock, so I didn't play. But it was good to get the boys back out there in a competitive game and get them going, and we won convincingly in the end, and it was pleasing. And it was pleasing to be back out and enjoying being part of football again.
And then, of course, you're not just player there, you're assistant manager there as well, is that right?
Yeah, yes, that's right, yeah.
So that's really good. And then is that something you see yourself doing? Do you think you're going to stay, as an assistant manager after, or are you going to look to go into management? To start doing my badges properly because I started years ago and then I stopped it because I didn't. It was for me, but now I've got the bug again. I'm gonna push on with that and definitely stay in the game and one day be managing, definitely. And do you think you'd ever, maybe come back to Stevenage in some capacity and do some coaching? Yeah, some coaching there, or I would like that. Management role maybe, or anything like that. Yeah,
I'll definitely like that. Yeah. Like I say, I had a lot of great times at Stevenage. So yeah, if I could come back in any capacity to help the club, I'll definitely jump at that. Yeah.
I think that'd be really good. Obviously, you mentioned there in regards to what happened when you could have actually come back before as well, when the club got into the Football League. So, of course, that would be great to have you back on board at the club at some point. And yeah, maybe to see you put the shirt on, even if it's just for a testimonial game or the kind of game that you were involved in.
I came back for a testimonial a few years ago for
oh no, it was Mitchell Cole's game. Yeah.
So that was my first time back and
I saw that earlier. I was looking through. There were some pictures of that, and I was working at the time. I was working with B&M, so I couldn't get the time off and whatever. I was working through the night, but that was the fact you went back there.
We were running out again down the tunnel and onto the pitch and hearing that song again come out again. It was brilliant.
That's right, and we've got one here from Russ as well. A couple of questions coming through. Would you ever do punditry, or would you just prefer to stay as a coach or a manager or involved in the game in that way?
I'll just stay as a coach. Stay as a coach and manager. I don't need a microphone.
No. And then we've got this one here from Russ as well, and not a different Russ this time. Russ Morgan, Super Barry Hayles. Saw him play for Chesham against Slough a few years back. So that would have been back in what's that? That would have been about between 2015 2017, around about that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I had a good time at Chesham as well, playing under Handy Leeds, who was the manager who brought me in there, and he made me a coach as well. So that was pleasing as well.
And then we've got some more on here now. So what are your own sort of personal experiences of racism in the game? And obviously with the Black Lives Matter and all of that's been, sort of coming out over the last few weeks and months.
I did suffer it at one game. It was against Wisbech, and it was a FA Cup qualifier for Bristol Rovers. But I remember hearing prior to the game that I think Les Ferdinand said that was the worst place he experienced it.
Mm-hmm.
So going there, I didn't think it was years after going there, but then as soon as we were kicking off, you'd hear the chants, and I'm thinking, okay. And then half time, I was coming out half time, second half, and something told me to jog out because I think it was 0-0 half time.
Right.
Well, I was quite frustrated that we hadn't scored.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And so I jogged out, and as I jogged out, a banana came flying past me, and I just picked it up and thought, like, who the hell and what the hell? Yeah. And my teammates were like, calm down and don't let me get to you. And is that
the kind of thing that obviously you would use to motivate you in games as well? Would you kind of just were you able to
you definitely play
turn that on its head?
And I ended up scoring the winner, which was very pleasing, and it was in the papers the next day about me shutting them up. So but it's something that is not nice because just because you colour your skin in it.
We've got one here from Matt as well. Gillingham 9-game unbeaten against Millwall up to the 19th of October 2004. When I heard your name was in the lineup, I knew we would lose.
I think that was my debut goal for Millwall. I think.
Yeah.
When I made my debut and I cracked my rib, and I was out for I think a month and a half. So that was one of my first games back. So yeah, scored it. I remember turning and slotting it past the keeper against Gillingham. So yeah, he's probably talking about that game.
I think that was the one he was on about. Yeah. So what have we got here? So yeah, we mentioned about Stevenage obviously staying up now as well. What are your sort of overall thoughts on where Stevenage could end up going? Do you see them? They got a young manager, but with a very experienced culture behind him. Yeah. So they got to not make the same mistakes as last season. And it's any league's tough to get out of, but if you start well and get the right faces in the right squad and that, and then it gives you half a chance. That's right, and then they've got quite a lot of new players in already. They've done quite a lot of business already in this last transfer window. Still, working on it now in regards to bringing in players through the door. Another one coming in today from Chelsea, young goalkeeper from Chelsea, and they're bringing in quite a few players from non-league as well as some players who have had league experience to go alongside that too. So how crucial is it to get the right mix of sort of youth and experience? Yeah, it's massive. Yeah, it's get the right balance because you can have the kids to run around a lot, but you do need to see games out, and you need a bit of experience just to see games out and see off games. And nothing they can do that more than experience and managing games better. That's right. And then are you still in contact with any of the guys from Stevenage when you were there? Like I said, I spoke to Mark Smith a few months ago. Yeah. I got a message from Soji a few months ago as well. Who else? I still see Clive, the secretary. Yeah, Clive Avery. Yeah. We're still in contact. Spoke to Corey maybe about 3-4 years ago now. Okay. But Smudge. Oh, I spoke to Des Gallagher as well. He's in Australia. Oh, is he? Is that where Des is now? Yeah. He's in Australia, and we spoke about 4 or 5 times about just as lockdown was starting. Yeah, we were talking then. Yeah. So a few months ago, but yeah, he was all right. And obviously that's another one who's a really great name around Stevenage Football Club. So what was the transition like? Obviously, we spoke about it previously that you didn't actually start out as a striker. So, you mentioned there in regards to having that one game where Paul Fairclough put you up front just before that ban. But, what was the transition like into going into a striker for you personally?
Throughout my career, prior to joining Stevenage, when I was at my last club prior to that, they fit me in at left fullback, left wing back position, but I could play anywhere. And as a kid, I played everywhere for all my school teams and for my local teams as well. Yeah. So being up front was just I think an extra buzz, really, just to be nearer the goal and that. So but I just had the knack of knowing where to be and knowing where to run, and then my teammates always seemed to pick me out.
Yeah, and then of course, as soon as you got the ball, pretty much it was always set that you'd score near enough as well. Yeah, what was it like? Obviously, we spoke about it before with Stevenage as well on the last stream, but how much do you owe to Stevenage for giving you that opportunity as well, being that it was sort of one of your first teams to actually give you a chance?
Yeah, I owe them a lot, like I say, but I owe Paul Fairclough a hell of a lot for giving me the chance and speaking to me and Phil that day and said, do you want to get paid to play football? And initially it was like, yeah, but at what level? Because I didn't know anything about Stevenage at the time. So you tend to think, yeah, I love playing football first and foremost. If someone's going to pay me for it, then yeah, I'll jump at the chance. But initially it was just playing for the sake of playing and enjoying playing football first and foremost. And whatever came afterwards was just a bonus.
And you were involved when you were at Stevenage in a couple of decent pre-season friendlies as well. You played against a few Premier League teams. Is that right? Yes.
We played Tottenham a few times, and I did that scoring against Tottenham a few times as well. Yeah. And in the back of my mind, hoping maybe they might come and get me one day.
Mm-hmm. And of course, you went on and you played for Fulham as well. In one of the games, you mentioned that you're a Spurs fan. When you were playing for Fulham, you scored a brace for Fulham against Spurs as well in a 3-0 victory there. Was that difficult to not difficult to score against the team that you support, but sort of any sort of mixed emotions in that at all or not?
Definitely, 100%. Most of my family, they were there, and they were saying to me, "How can you score 2 goals and not celebrate?"
Yeah.
I said, well, that's my team, isn't it? That's my team. And the manager then was my all-time favourite player, Glenn Hoddle as well. And he was the manager, the manager at Spurs then. But, I never celebrated on that because it was a bit bittersweet, but I would say more sweet.
That's fair enough. And then in regards to, you played for Fulham, for Sheffield United as well. Millwall, Plymouth, of course, who Rye supports. I think Rye wouldn't forgive us if we didn't mention Plymouth in some capacity. So what are your sort of thoughts on Plymouth as a football club and your time there as well?
Oh, I had a fantastic time at Plymouth. And we were, the club wasn't a massive club. The club was growing and we was in the championship and we was pitching ourselves against the best championship clubs. And we was in the top 8, pushing for the top 6 and that, and we fell short, and we got through to the quarterfinals of the cup as well, FA Cup. We narrowly got beat by Watford, but I had a fantastic time at Plymouth, and. It come about that Holloway left and went to Leicester, and he said to me, well, I brought you all this way from London. Yeah, I'll see it's fit for me to bring you Leicester as well. So that's how that came about.
Okay, and then obviously on the back of Plymouth and Leicester, there was Cheltenham as well, Truro City, St Albans, Oldie Town, and back to Truro again as well, Chesham, Windsor, and now with Merstham, as we said. So quite a good career there. You've been in the game for some time. Started out back in 1989 and 2019, 2020, you're still playing. So
yeah, touch wood. I've been fit enough to go to clubs and make a difference. I've not just gone there and just played for the sake of playing. Now I've gone there and I've helped clubs to gain a promotion as well. So yeah, I'm hopefully this season, Merchant, we can push on, because the COVID ruined last season, and we struggled because we had a small squad, and we had to chop and change the new faces we had there. So this year we've kind of been given a second chance. So we're going to hopefully do right and be in the top half.
And with Merson last season, was it? What was the final outcome of that season? Was it, one of the clubs that was dealt a big blow by the virus? Were you kind of in promotion places or anything like that? Or?
We were struggling and at the bottom.
Yeah.
We was in the bottom four, and so it came about. We still had to play teams around us down at the bottom, and we were just hoping that they didn't just do it on how it finished then, and teams would get relegated. So they just scrapped the whole league.
Really? Cancelled the whole lot. Yeah.
Cancelled the whole lot, which was I thought was justified. I know a lot of teams, a lot of other clubs would have maybe liked to have gone another way, but we look at it as we're going to start again now and push on from there.
So you're in a very similar position to what Stevenage were like actually in the Football League then.
Yeah, very much so. Very much so. So yeah, because I'm sure the teams from the league below would have been trying to get a place above. Yeah. Very much a similar situation.
And Paul here, he's touched on that game. That he didn't actually play, Paul. He was on the bench and he didn't actually come on. He was DJ Campbell came on and Paul Dickoff came on. But Barry, you were on the bench, weren't you? And you didn't get on.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So so I think we'll probably leave it there, to be honest, unless there's anything that you have in particular that you want to cover or want to say that hasn't been mentioned.
No. I think we've covered most things. I think definitely.
Yeah. So thanks a lot for your time, and always a pleasure catching up with you and speaking to you. It's very difficult to do this one on the back of the fact we've already tried it out once as well. And I've, as I said, I've got so much paperwork here. I was looking to try and see what information for you I've got and what information for other people that has been muddled up with all of that now, because it's all kind of just been chucked together as one. But yeah, I'm glad we managed to get it live and get it out there, and hopefully it's still there for people to listen back to and enjoy, and they get the gist of what we're saying anyway.
No, brilliant. Cheers, Mike. Appreciate that.
Cheers, Barry. Thanks a lot, mate.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye now. Right, so we're back live for the second part of this now, because I found a few more questions that I wanted to get covered that I wasn't able to cover before. So let's literally just get straight into it, really, to be honest. Joined with Barry Hayles again. So we'll carry on, really. So it wasn't to be in terms of promotion, but how far do you think that squad would have gone if given the opportunity to test yourselves at a higher level in the Football League?
I think we definitely would have held our own with a couple of additions to that to strengthen it. I think Paul Dickoff would have loved to have brought us up and to have pitched himself at a high level as well as the players. So I think we would have had a lot to improve.
I think that's right as well. That side obviously went on and won the league, and if you were to keep that core together, that kind of main core group, and then added one or two, not really changed too much, then you would have been a successful football league team. And you never know, you could have gone on and done what Stevenage did, where you go on into back-to-back promotions maybe.
Yes, exactly. Who's to know? Well, like I said, Paul was a fantastic manager, and he was always attention to detail, and that's what made us such a good squad and such a good team.
That's right. And then we've got just a few more here. So let's have a look here. Yeah. So we spoke about Woking. We spoke about this one here. So since leaving the club, you've gone on to have a fantastic career. And obviously we mentioned before in regards to you starting out at Stevenage and the fact that you felt that you've got it to owe to Paul Fairclough and to the club. What was, how grateful for that opportunity were you? And if you weren't picked up by Stevenage, then, it could have been a completely different story, couldn't it?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. I always played football for the love of football first. So I would have carried on playing at the level I was playing at. I remember before I joined Stevenage, I was playing for Willesden, and I got a couple of trials. I got a couple of trials now, and I was having a decent trial at QPR, but I broke my jaw, and then I broke my jaw, and I broke my jaw playing for Willesden. I was at QPR for a couple of weeks training with them, and they was favourable. So I said, well, I've got a game. This was Friday before the fatal jaw break, and I said to them, I've got a game tomorrow. And they said, yeah, we'll go and play. It'll probably be your last one for them. And I went and played and broke my jaw in two places.
So it was, and then obviously you...
setback, that was one of the first setbacks, yeah.
That's right. And then what would you say your best game for Stevenage was? I know there was some big ones in there, the Woking game, the Birmingham game. What would you say was your best game and maybe your best goal, your favourite goal?
My favourite goal. My favourite of all goals would be against Woking, because I know it's such a massive, and it was such a massive occasion. The whole day was massive for the club and for the players. So to actually score in that game in front of all the fans and winning the game, I think that's a standout. And it's always nice scoring a hat trick on Staley Bridge away, scoring a hat trick. So them two games will probably stand out most.
Fair enough. And then since leaving the club, you've gone on and you're sort of coaching as well as playing now. So do you have any advice for any young up-and-coming players or managers, that are starting out?
Well, players-wise, you just got to keep persevering. Players, you're not going to be every manager's cup of tea. Not every manager going to like what you do. So if you get a setback, just dust yourself off and go again and keep persevering. And a manager would like your style and I would like what you bring to a team. I've had setbacks, but I kept on going and I achieved, thankfully, a very good career.
And then what about from the managerial or coaching side of it? Of course, there's not really an awful lot of black managers in the game and stuff as well. So to somebody who's from a black or ethnic minority and looking to go into coaching, what would you say to them?
It's the same thing, persevering and put yourself forward for opportunities that do arise. And I know it's been tough and difficult, but hopefully we can turn that corner and turn it around and get the job that we deserve.
All right, and then the last one, we'll leave it after this one. So what would you say in regards to the sort of mental health aspects of the game? How important is that to get all of that side of it right as well?
No, it's massive. Massive. A lot of people in general and a lot of ex-players and players now go through mental health situations. So I'm glad it's been highlighted in that. I've got a few close friends who have suffered in the past, and they do walks, they do tours just to keep it in the forefront of people's minds. Yeah. I think it's very important.
All right, well, we'll leave it there then. On this second part, I was glad I got a few of those questions out as well, just to wrap it up and to conclude it nicely. So thanks for joining us tonight, Barry, and enjoy the rest of your night.
Cheers, mate. Thanks a lot. Take care.
Mate. Cheers. Bye now.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.